So, hello everyone, and welcome to what is rumoured to be our finale for the Talk Travel series. Now, the thing is, it might be like that Rocky films, where you keep getting more and more, because to be honest with you, as we know, travel has been very depressed in the last 18 months. But what we're finding is our fabulous suppliers are coming up with some fabulous offerings with regard to travel. So there's just this desire to keep sharing with you every time we meet up with our suppliers and come up with these fabulous new offerings. So I can't promise it'll be the last one, but really, just for you to know, the intention is that we can stop doing the virtual events and start meeting you properly, which I think is much nicer. But here we go today with, I think, one of our best ones ever, because this episode is full of immersive North American tours, which we're so excited about for the reasons that you'll hear in the next 30 to 40 minutes. Now, as you know, Delmar World, we're full of a team of well-travelled specialists. And unfortunately, Howard, our US specialist, can't be with us today, but you have got me. I'm a Canada specialist, and you've got the wonderful Lee, who is a specialist for all things tours. So I'm sure we can give you a really good account of what you could expect. Now, there is a reason why we asked Lee to join us today. Many of you have travelled with us before, and many of you have enjoyed pre-planned fly drive holidays. Now, what we found over the last few months, as people are rebooking their fly drive holidays that they were meant to travel on last year and maybe the year before, that as we're doing price comparisons, we're seeing that the prices are going up substantially. There's two reasons for this. One is that the North American domestic market is becoming very demanding of their own product because they're traveling within the States. So accommodations are filling very quickly. And the second reason is that there's a huge shortage of car hire. And as a result, the car hire prices have gone through the roof. So when we put that package together and look at a fly drive holiday against a touring holiday, which offers so much more, there really isn't a lot in it. So it's about looking at the value. And today, what I want to do is to, if you're like me, and before I toured, I had negative feelings, impressions of what a tour could be, coach full of people, having to race for your seat in the morning to get the best one, a lot of lugging around of luggage and not actually going to the places that you wanted to go to or not spending enough time there. So that's not the case, providing you choose the right tour. And that's what we're going to cover today, as well as these fabulous itineraries. So thanks for joining us. And I want to welcome, with a warm welcome to you, Lee Evanson, Sales Manager of Insight Vacations. Thank you so much for joining us today.
It's an absolute pleasure, as always, and to be here and to have the opportunity to speak with you and speak to many of your incredible clients. And what I'm going to be doing now is going to be sharing my screen, and myself and Anne, we're going to have a conversation about some of our premium trips to the USA and really what are the highlights and what can you expect when you go on a guided holiday, because it might not be what you expect. It might be something completely different. So I'm going to share my screen now so we can start the presentation.
Actually, Lee, there is one thing I missed out. It's having this gap in not presenting for a little while. Just to tell you guys, the beauty of you joining us live is that you can ask us questions just by clicking on the chat box at the bottom of your screen. We'll address those questions at the end of this presentation. Please feel free to ask us your questions.
Thanks so much, Anne. So as I mentioned, my name is Lee Evanson and I'm the sales manager in the UK for Insight Vacations and also Luxury Gold. And today we partnered with one of our most trusted travel partners in the UK, Delmar World Travel, to present to you what we believe are the most immersive and premium tours of the United States and Canada. And we do have the lovely Anne here today. We were hoping for Howard as well to have the dream team, but we have been given the personal endorsement from Howard. He's had a look at these itineraries in detail. He's looked into the hotel quality, the experiences, and to get Howard's endorsement to us, it means a lot. So we've actually put together,
he's very excited about it, Lee. He really is. I mean, he's gone through it with a fine-tooth comb, and the stuff that you're including, he is so excited about, because they're the recommendations he makes to his clients. So you're absolutely right. He's endorsed it.
Excellent. And so what we've put together is, hopefully you've all had a chance to have a look at it, is a personal collection with Delmar World of our finest USA and Canada itineraries. And they are available in the digital format. So if you haven't had a look at it, I believe Sally's put the link in the chat as well. But hopefully today we can give you a flavour of what Insight Vacations is about. But before we actually go into what it's like to travel on an Insight Vacations itinerary, a little bit about our background. We are part of a family-run company called the Travel Corporation, and we've been operating now for 101 years. So during that time, we have seen everything that the world has had to offer, as you can imagine, but we are still here, and we will be here for many, many years to come. One of the great things about working for a family company is we don't have to abide by shareholders. We run the company how we want it to be run. And really, the customer, you, our guests, are at the heart of everything that we do. And that's been backed up with our awards. We've managed to win Platinum Trusted Merchant Award based on all the feedback that our guests give us on our itineraries. You actually go onto our website and give us live reviews afterwards, and that's given us the Platinum Trusted Merchant Award. And also in the UK, within the tourism industry, we have won the best premium tour operator at the UK Clubs, which is like the Oscars, 6 years on a run. So we are super, super proud of those endorsements. And really, the reasons why guests return and travel with Insight Vacations many, many times is that every single element of our guided journeys are looked at to make sure that we can offer the very, very best to our guests. So over the next 5 to 10 slides, we're going to give you an idea, an introduction of what it is like when you are traveling on an Insight Vacations tour. First and foremost, we want to make sure that even though you are traveling on a guided tour, we make sure that you are staying in the best hotels in the very, very best locations. We have as our benefit, we own our own ground operators in America. That means we get access to the best properties at the very, very best rates. And it's so important, isn't it, when you are staying in a hotel, that you are actually not just in a great hotel, as we all like to enjoy, but also you're staying in the right location.
Absolutely, because you're only going to have 1, 2, or maximum 3 nights. So when you get your free time, you need to know that you can walk outside the hotel, enjoy the restaurants, enjoy the sights, have a good walk around the city. And, if you're staying outside, I think we all agree, it's just a faff, isn't it, to try and get transport into the centre. So absolutely, location is important.
It is. So just to give you an example, when you are going on a guided itinerary with Insight across the United States and Canada, sometimes we'll be staying in city locations. And again, we handpick the very, very best hotels. This is the FAIRMONT, Georgetown, Washington, D.C., right in the heart of Washington, just around the corner from the White House. It was actually been a favorite of many presidents all over the years. President Truman used to stay here all the time. He often was quoted as saying it was the second best address in Washington after the White House. So city centre hotels are always going to be in the heart, whether it's in Washington, in New York City, in San Francisco, in Boston. You'll be staying at Hyatt Regencies, intercontinental hotels, so you can enjoy. We also have many exclusive properties. This is one of our new properties for 2022. It's the Glacier View Lodge in Canada that overlooks the Columbia Icefield. Now, this is an incredible property. It's brand new, and Insight Vacations is the only tour operator that has access to it. And it gives our guests the opportunity, when you are also in these scenic locations, that you are having the best views possible.
Yeah, I'm going to interrupt you there, Lee, and just say the national parks, we talked about city centre, but just to say to our clients, the national parks are very, very difficult availability wise for us to get hold of. And when we do, this is individually now when we're putting an itinerary together, when we do, it's usually at a cost supplement. So they can be very expensive. So yeah, and I know you're going to cover the Canada part of it later, so I'll let you go on.
Yeah, it's a good point, though, because there's a big difference, Anne, isn't there, again, about staying on the outskirts of a national park, because the outskirts of a national park and driving into the heart of it could be a 2-hour drive. It really can be. We've seen many tour operators, when it comes to the Grand Canyon, will be staying in Flagstaff, which is literally an hour and a half away. Insight guests literally stay a few feet from the edge of the Grand Canyon. So they are there at night when there's no crowds. They are there first thing in the morning. They get to see sunrise and sunset and the light show that gives over the Grand Canyon. But it's the same in Yellowstone. It's the same in Yosemite. It's the same in Bryce. We always stay right in the heart of the national park so you can enjoy. So one thing you can enjoy when you travel with Insight is the quality of the hotels. Next, it's the experiences. On every single one of our Insight Vacations itineraries, we always include what we call the top rated highlights. And we have VIP access to many of the top sites in the United States, in Canada. But more than that, we want to allow you to really immerse yourself in the destination that you wouldn't normally get to do if you were traveling there independently, or if you were probably traveling on a fly drive holiday. And again, this is using our contacts. And I've just got a few highlights here on to show what we've had a lot of interest in the United States for next year, of course, for the latter part of next year. And it's an itinerary that we have called Boston, Cape Cod, and the Islands, where we actually stay for 2 nights in Newport, which is the home of the America's Cup, that world famous sailing expedition. So what better way to go and see Cape Cod and the surrounding coastline than to go out on an original 80-foot schooner and have a private cruise around the coast and to see that beautiful coastline. This is the type of additional experience that the guests will get to enjoy on an Insight Vacations itinerary.
Is that included, Lee, those experiences?
Yeah. These are all included. So all these experiences are included. And in that type of experience, we call a special insight experience. And we've got about 60 of those in the United States and Canada alone. And they are always included. And I mentioned before, and sometimes it's having that special access to sites that are closer to the general public or to the tour operators. And in Hollywood, we have 2 nights in downtown LA. And we take the guests to the original LA Theatre, this gorgeous Baroque theatre that's been closed to the general public for 20 years. It was actually set up originally by Charlie Chaplin. But we go there with a local expert and you learn a story about Hollywood's glamorous past. And it's having these additional benefits included that our guests are like, wow, this is why we're doing it this way. We get to see these sites we wouldn't normally get to do.
Yeah, yeah.
And also, we want to give our guests choice. You are on a guided journey, but we want to give you the choice of experiences. So when you're there, you get to dictate how that tour is going to go. So we often give on many days the opportunity for our guests to speak to our travel directors and choose from an active or relaxing experience. So this is an example here in Canada on Prince Edward Island. The guests can go and see the famous lighthouse and then have a winery tour and tasting session. That's what we call a nice relaxing experience. If you're feeling a little bit more active that day and you want to do something else, we've arranged for a bike hire tour and a city tour of Charlottetown, followed by a tour of the markets afterwards. So to have choice now is great for our guests. You're on a guided tour, but you're getting that free time to go off and do your own thing, but you're also getting that time to choose the experiences that are more suited to you. So you're really getting to curate the itinerary how you like it, actually at destination.
Yeah, because one size doesn't fit all, does it, Lee? When we're talking to our clients, and some people, they are active, they have special interests, they want to get out there and see a lot. other people want to combine the relaxation. So, you know, that's why sometimes a tour can feel as though it's a little bit restricted. So I think it's a brilliant idea to combine those activities, give a choice.
And again, it's about personalization, and we do that with the dining as well. So on our Insight Vacations itineraries, we want the dining experiences to be an experience. We want our guests to be able to go out and try the best in local restaurants and local cuisine. So on every single one of our itineraries, we have breakfast included daily at these gorgeous hotels that we stay in, which are like mini feasts. But we also have highlight evenings as well, where we take the guests to the best local restaurants. So we have a cooking demonstration. If we're on the coast in Atlantic Canada, we'll go to restaurants that specialize in what we call seed to table dining, which is the freshest produce that's been maybe picked from the ocean that day. But we also have, again, Anne, and this comes to personalization, and not a lot of guests realize you can actually do this with Insight, is we have what we call a dine around evening, where we say to the guests, in this particular town on this evening, you'll get to choose one of the best 3 or 4 restaurants in this town. And they're all different, with all different styles. And we literally give the guests the menus that day so they can decide where they want to go. And we take them there, they get introduced to the maitre d', and then the Insight, we pick up the tab. So it's all included. So we have personalization, and about 60% of the evening meals included, because it is important as well that guests get that free time to go off and enjoy by themselves. So it's a nice blend of included.
Yeah. I know we spoke about this yesterday, and one of my things, and I'm sure a lot of your guests are the same, is it's great to socialize a little bit on a holiday. It's also nice to have your own time away. And, you know, if you are a bit independent minded, you really don't want to be dining every night where you're supposed to be dining, perhaps with other people. But with the combination that you've got on this, it's very varied. And then you've got about 40% where you're making your own choices. You're going off on your own if you want to. But you also make friends on these things as well, which is fantastic. New friends from different countries. And the great way to socialize is by having a meal with them.
Exactly. So in LA, we'll take the guests to one of the best restaurants in Hollywood one evening for them to enjoy in our Best of California tour. And the following night, it's free time for the guests to go off and enjoy. So it does give you that nice balance of getting the best out of the destination, but also having that personalization and that free time that guests want these days as well. And when we are traveling from A to B, we also look at everything. We also want to make sure that our guests are as comfortable as possible. So we are the only tour operator in North America to customize the layout of our coaches to give double the legroom and also double the window space. And we do that by taking seats off our vehicles and making sure they're as spacious, as comfortable as possible. There's Wi-Fi included on board if you need it. There's charging points included on board, and all your baggage is looked after as well. And now we do have smaller groups as well. So on all our top selling trips, you can choose a small group option with a maximum of 24 and an average group size of 16. And as well as the vehicle, I think one of the things that our guests really benefit from is the team of 3 that we have at destination to look after our guests. So we have a diligent driver, a travel director who's there to make that itinerary to life. They are there to welcome you upon arrival into the USA. They're there to arrange transport then for you to the hotel, and they are there to bring the itinerary to life and to personalize it for you as much as they can. And we do have also a well-being director as well. So when you actually get on the journey, you realize, wow, this is so easy. All the hassles are being taken away. You're getting VIP access to the major sites. You're getting taken to the best restaurants. Your baggage is literally taken from the vehicle to your room for you, and check-in is already done upon arrival. So it is a real seamless door-to-door experience, because we've even got the VIP transfers included in the UK as well. So we collect the guests from their home, we take them to the airport in a private transfer when they board their flight and they arrive at the destination. So it's a great, easy way to travel. It's very relaxing. So, sorry, Anne.
No, I was just about to say it sounds ideal because, you know, all of the stresses that we feel at the moment, And I think there is a little bit of a barrier there of wondering if next year everything will be back to normal. And I think we've all realised that we've got to live with COVID, and we will. Certain things have changed, and some of them for the better. But when everything is sorted for you in advance like this, it takes that stress element out of it, as long as you can keep the individuality into it. So this is perfect. It's a perfect scenario.
That's right, it is. And when you're there, you realise how easy everything is. And the travel directors are expertly trained. Most travel directors, just to give people a background, most travel directors in America are freelance. The vast majority want to work for Insight Vacations because they know we are the pinnacle when it comes to premium guided journeys, that we're staying in the best hotels, we have smaller groups, we have the best dining, best experiences, and so forth, and so much included. So when they actually start working for us, they must have a minimum of 5 years experience, and then they go on a 2-year personal development training program. But they are trained not to be intrusive. They are there to get to know guests in a very light way, and to really help and shape that holiday experience for them, to really help and personalize it. But when you do need someone to help and guide you what to do in your free time, where's the best place to go, can you help with this? It's great that you have that in-destination support, especially in this new world that we're living in, where there is a lot of questions these days. So I think it really is such a valuable asset now when you're going on these long haul journeys, to know that you're going to be completely catered for and looked after. So just to give you an idea where we travel to, ladies and gentlemen, we've got over 20 premium journeys across North and South America. Like I said before, we have personalized these itineraries into a exclusive Delmar World personal digital brochure, which has little videos built in to give you more information. And what we're going to be doing shortly is picking 2 or 3 of these itineraries and going through them in a little bit more detail, just so you get to understand what these destinations are like and what it's like to travel there. But we cover everything from Alaska and Alaska cruise, all the way through to Western Canada and the Rocky Mountaineer, to the beautiful national parks in Western USA, down into Southern USA and New Mexico. We have some incredible itineraries for Arizona in the winter, if you want to go and see the Joshua Tree National Park and some amazing places. We do Deep South USA, which I know is a place very close to Howard's heart, and a place
It's one of his favourites.
Oh, it's amazing. It's amazing. It's one of those places that we will touch on, but when you get there, you just realise how special it is. And so many factors for that: the people, the food, everything, the atmosphere is so different down there. East Coast USA, of course, the world-class, the famous cities of New York, Boston, Philadelphia, and Washington. The fall, which is a very, very popular trip of ours. Yes, wanting to do New England in the fall, and also East Coast, Canada as well. So we cover everything, and also South America we are operating as well. So hopefully you've had a chance to have a look at the brochure. If you haven't, this is what the brochure looks and feels like. It's got the personal endorsement there from Howard. And then it gives you, again, the reasons why you should be looking at a guided holiday, and also not just a guided one with Insight Vacations, a different standard than anybody else. So it goes through what we've just been talking about: the dining, the hotels, the quality in terms of the vehicles, the small groups, door to door, the experiences. Everything is covered in here with great examples, the choice you can make on the itineraries as well. But one thing just to look out for as well, on every single one of these trips, we've actually asked one of our travel experience developers in the US, our ground operators, to just put together a short 2 to 3 minute video, which you'll see in the bottom right hand corner on here. And these really are just to give you a little bit more information on this particular journey. So when you go through, if you want to hear about the Canyonlands of Western USA, you can actually click on the video, and there'll be a 2 to 3 minute video from one of our travel experience developers who hand create these journeys, just talking through the highlights. We won't play it here today in full, but just to give you an idea of how the brochure works. And I think we should actually start talking about 1 or 2 itineraries, shouldn't we, Annie? California is such a nice and beautiful place to start. I wish I was there now, actually.
Yeah, this is one of the real popular ones, the California coast. So give us a talk through that, Lee.
So
let's get excited.
Let's get excited. This for me is, I'm absolutely blown away by this itinerary. It's incredible. This is a new journey for us. We've done California in the past. We used to go from San Francisco down to LA and then, but we've actually changed it. We've enhanced it for 2022, and I'm really excited about it. We now start in San Diego and we go all the way up to San Francisco. So if you are looking for the very best of what California has to offer, then this is a great itinerary to look at. And what we've done for this itinerary is we've actually changed the way we travel. For the first 5 days of this journey, all the way up to Paso Robles, we're actually traveling on the incredible Amtrak Pacific Surfliner train. And it's an amazing train journey. You can see on the map here, I don't know if I can get my cursor, but you can see on the map how it hooks the California coastline all the way up. It's absolutely spectacular. And one of the nicest things is when you arrive in San Diego, you'll be, of course, collected at the airport, taken to your beautiful hotel in the heart of San Diego. And then when we travel from San Diego to Los Angeles and all along on the train, again, all your porterage, all your baggage is taken care of, all your tickets are done, so you can just relax, stare out the window and enjoy the journey. But we've got some amazing experiences in Los Angeles. We arrive into LA and we stay at the 5-star Intercontinental Hotel. I think this is the best hotel in Los Angeles and Hollywood. Absolutely amazing. And one of the amazing assets of this place is the bar and the restaurant. This is called Spira 73 because it's situated on the 73rd floor. Incredible views, the highest bar and restaurant, open air bar in the Western Hemisphere, USA. It is absolutely spectacular. So we have a couple of nights in LA where we take you to the original LA Theatre, which we talked before. You do everything that you could possibly imagine and want to do in Hollywood. And we give the guests choice. Again, they can go to this brand new museum, which just opened, the Academy Award Museum of Motion Pictures, which looks absolutely spectacular. So if you're interested in any sort of film history, that's an amazing place to go to. We take guests down to Santa Monica for the day, and we take guests to one of the best restaurants in downtown LA that evening. So there's lots of experiences included and lots of personal choice in LA. And then we go to Santa Barbara. We have a night at the Hilton Beachfront Resort, which has a gorgeous swimming pool. We have a night in Paso Robles where we actually go to the wineries and have a private wine tasting experience. And then we have 2 nights in Yosemite. Now, to actually stay in the heart of Yosemite is a unique privilege, and to actually stay there for 2 nights, it's very, very hard to get space in Yosemite for 2 nights. But it's an incredible place. You've got the incredible big red trees, you've got the amazing El Capitan cliff face, and we take our guests off with a local ranger on a tram Valley-led tour right through the heart of Yosemite, so you get to really experience what it's like. So this is going to be totally different from downtown LA. So this itinerary's got everything that you can imagine. And then we end in San Francisco at the Hyatt Regency for 2 nights, looking over the wharf and the Golden Gate Bridge. And we have the ferries included. We have a walking tour over the Golden Gate Bridge. We do go on trams, of course, and some incredible dining experiences as well. And we also have some amazing farm-to-table dining experiences in Paso Robles with some beautiful local restaurants too. So I absolutely love this itinerary, and this is one that your guests could do, and then you could even add more to it. I think that's one of the things that we really value working with Delmar World. It's not just this tour, is it? You could do more. You could add more onto the end of it or before.
Exactly. So when I spoke to Howard about this, we were thinking, well, how could we add value? Now, I know that San Diego is one of those places that is just jaw-droppingly wonderful. So we would probably talk to our guests about maybe adding another night there on San Diego before the tour, and possibly when in San Francisco. It is such a quirky city, and it's many people's favorite. So I know that you have this fun-filled thing where you go over to Sausalito and you do the winery and you do all of that. But a lot of people want to visit Alcatraz, and I know that that's not part of the tour because the tickets can be a bit difficult to get hold of, and you'd never know how many people might want to do it. So I understand why you wouldn't include that, but we can arrange that for our guests if they want to fit that in, and maybe extend for a night in San Francisco. And I'll just warn you guys out there as well, that if you're tempted by this tour, Howard is the expert on Northern California. So if it was that you were thinking maybe you'd do a tour, but then you'd like to do a very easy fly drive in Northern California, then we could maybe add a few nights on for you to see that area, which is absolutely beautiful and very gorgeous for wines. So, you know, there's a lot we could expand on. Over to you again.
But no, it's a really good point, because it's so many of our guests do so much than just travel on our holidays and go on our tours. They always look to add something pre and post, or to change it, or to make it unique. And that's where Anne and Howard and the team are so vital.
Yeah.
For example,
and not only that, Lee, sorry to interrupt, but you're paying for the airfare regardless of how long you stay out there. So in proportion, you really want to make the most of it whilst you're there. And knowing, you know, we've got this thing about inspiration and information so that you make an informed choice when on your own holiday. So that's where we would add the value for sure.
And we've got as well, we've got 8 small module national park style itineraries as well in the West. So again, somebody might want to look at us for just to see the parks and to get access to the parks and to have some of the amazing experiences that we include. And then they could look to you to combine that with a fly drive as well for California. There's lots of things that we can do, isn't there, Anne, that we can make these itineraries work in an overall absolutely unique holiday. So that's just one of many itineraries for Western USA and for USA as a whole. And something that myself and Anne are very passionate about is also Canada, isn't it? And it's been an amazing week with Canada now being open for travel.
Yeah, it opened on the 7th, and we were giving tickets out to our clients only yesterday with big smiles on their faces. They are finally going, and it's a wonderful, wonderful experience. And of course, Canada, I'm a Canada specialist, so it's a big thing for me. I love Canada.
It is. It's absolutely one of those places where it just takes your breath away in terms of your scenery. And just before I go into it, this is a wonderfully nice, relaxed tour. I think personally, probably the most spectacular part of the Canadian Rockies is this area between BC and Alberta. This is mainly in Alberta. And this is called the Spectacular Rockies and Glaciers of Alberta, which is a looped itinerary that starts and ends in Calgary. But we can also extend and include that world famous rail journey, the Rocky Mountaineer, for 2 days that will take you to Vancouver. And it really is a spectacular part of the world. And we start for 3 nights at the gorgeous FAIRMONT BANFF Springs, which is, I think, one of the best hotels in Western Canada, especially in Banff. And it's in a great location. And I know it's somewhere I've been before. You've actually stayed here before. It's in a brilliant location again. It's a magnificent hotel to stay in.
It is. It's an iconic land site, this landmark hotel. It's built reminiscent of a Scottish castle, and was built in the early 1900s, I believe, where the rich and famous would escape to the mountains to benefit from the spa activity there and the natural sulphur waters. It's set just outside Banff, within a sort of healthy 15-minute walk, but they run a shuttle service down to the centre, and the centre of Banff is stunningly beautiful as well. But you can see this is set in a gorgeous, gorgeous location.
It's amazing. And we're here for 3 nights. So we want to make this relaxing for a guest as well. And again, this is what we do differently when it comes to our tour. So we have nice relaxed starts to the day, and then we give our guests a choice. They can choose how they want to spend their time in Banff. Now, this is very, very hard to get 9 holes of golf on this golf course. So we include this as part of the itinerary for anybody that's interested in golf. This could be a dream 9 holes to go and do this course surrounded by the incredible mountains of Alberta. If you're really not into golf, we can arrange for you to take you into the heart of Banff, and then the gondola to the top, the Sulphur Mountain, which has incredible views all over Banff. And I've done this personally, and it's a really nice, incredible thing to go and do. And it's really easy and relaxing. When you actually arrive to the top, there's a small restaurant and cafe, but they've got wooden decking that goes from one peak to the next. So you can literally walk from one peak to the next. It takes about 15 minutes, and it's really nice, easy, gentle steps. But the views are amazing, and I think this is an incredible experience to do, isn't it, Anne?
It is. The one thing about Sulphur Mountain is, like most mountains, it can get clouded over. And I know that the tour directors on Insight Vacations are very aware of all of the sort of pluses and minuses of doing various things, and that they will choose the best time for you to go, and sort of flex around a little bit. But yeah, Sulphur Mountain, for me, it's an absolute must. So, I would definitely choose that, but that's probably because I can't play golf.
Or you can do a horseback ride. That's another thing, with gentle horseback ride, I must say, along the Bow River. And we've also got access to the Willow Stream Spa, which is incredible in the Fairmont Banff Springs. So if you want to go and enjoy the spa facilities, amazing. That is also included as part of your 3-night stay there as well. And from there, we actually start to head north, and we go to the world famous Lake Louise. Now, we are here for the day. We don't actually stay at the Fairmont Lake Louise. We do have a luxury gold itinerary for the Canadian Rockies, which does stay at Lake Louise. So if you do want that to be, if that's one of your bucket list itineraries, speak to Anne and Howard and the team will be able to advise. But we have a gorgeous afternoon here where, again, we have the choice of experience. We have a local-led walk around this beautiful lake, and it's the colours, isn't it, Andy? The emerald colours of this lake are spectacular. If you go the right time of year, when I went too early. I went in the last week of April because I had to go out of season to experience it as part of our tour. But if you go at the right time of year, the lake's then forward, so you get those beautiful emerald colours coming through. But then you've got the iconic snow still on the top of the mountains. It's like a mirror, isn't it? It's like a glass reflection. It's absolutely incredible.
It is. And that walk is amazing around the lake. There's a glacier, as you can see on that picture, on the opposite side. But the walk is easy. It's flat. The crystal lakes, they're glacier fed, so crystal clear and gorgeous. So yeah, you've got to see it. One of the iconic sites of the Rockies.
And we've actually set up some canvases along the lake for the guests. So if we have a local artist come along and just do a watercolouring exercise. So if anybody wants to take part in that, they can. That is set up exclusively for Insight guests. If you want to go on the gondola over the lake for views, you can. Again, that's another included experience. So again, even here for the day, you're getting to dictate how it goes. And then we take you inside the Fairmont Chateau Lake Louise for dinner included in the Largo restaurant as well. So amazing experiences at the Lake Louise we include. We go to Moraine Lake. And then we start heading further north to one of my favorite places, and somewhere that we mentioned earlier, is to go and look at the Columbia Icefield. But to get to stay here at this Glacier View Lodge is amazing. Like I said before at the beginning of the presentation, this is a brand new property. It's only just been built. It's the only Glacier View property in Canada. We are the only touring company that's got access to it. But the views are spectacular. So you can imagine just coming there, arriving there late afternoon, having a cup of coffee, glass of wine maybe, sitting there next to the open fire, looking out on those panoramic windows onto the glacier. It is amazing. It's going to be an amazing experience for any of our guests that get to stay there. But what I like, and as well, we've arranged some exclusive experiences again for Insight guests. So when we arrive here in the afternoon, we take the guests to the incredible Icefield Skywalk that takes you right over the edge for amazing panoramic views. And this is an exclusive experience that we've arranged after it's closed, just for Insight guests. So you're not there with crowds of the day. You're not there with people outside your traveling group. This is a private, small group experience just for Insight guests. So if they're brave enough to walk on that, walk on the glass bottom bridge,
Don't look down. Just don't look down.
We have a glass of champagne waiting for everybody at the end as well. It's a little award for their courage. So it's an amazing experience, and we take them back to the hotel. And again, the rooms have got these incredible views over the glacier themselves. We have dinner and wine included in one of the restaurants. It's absolutely gorgeous. And then what the hotel has got is this incredible decking area outside, and these amazing telescopes, which you can see on a second picture there, set up at different corners of the decking, where you've got blankets there, you can go outside, and it's one of the best areas in Canada for dark skies. So you can see the Milky Way on good nights early in the season. You can sometimes see the Northern Lights as well. So it just adds to this whole mystique, this whole spectacle of staying here overlooking the ice field. I think it'll be a wonderful, wonderful evening, a wonderful experience.
Absolutely. And I know that it's you're going to talk about the following morning, because that's very exciting as well.
It is, yeah. So you have to, when you go to the Columbia Ice Field, you have to go out onto the glacier and experience to really understand the vastness of it. It's absolutely huge, and you go in the day, and it's a busy experience, isn't it? Normally when you go there, there's quite a lot of these incredible snowmobiles on the ice, but we've arranged this as a private 4 hours experience, exclusive, again, just for Insight guests to go off and enjoy.
Yeah, I mean, I'd let you just talk about that, because for people that are listening in, I cannot even begin to describe the Columbian Icefield Parkway Drive. It's rated as one of the top 10 drives of the world. Now, up until recently, until the Glacier Park Lodge became an offering, you had to drive that in one day. But through this accommodation, you're now able to stay there and enjoy that view for much, much longer, instead of having to sort of incorporate it into a day trip. Now, the downside is that if you are sort of independently traveling, getting that reservation at that particular lodge is almost impossible. Anita, who's also a Canada specialist in our office, was trying to book somebody there for June next year, and we just couldn't get accommodation there. So, because it's so unique, it's so beautiful and eclectic. But the experience that you've just described about the skywalk that gives you the views over the Athabasca Glacier, the Ice Explorer, and the uniqueness of the fact that you are a small group looking at this once the crowds have gone is well, it's a fabulous experience. It's a package within itself, really.
It is, yeah. And it's so good to hear that real honest opinion of it, in terms of the difficulty to stay there, what it's like to drive there for the day, but the benefit of doing that's really, really valued. Thanks so much for passing that on, Anne. And we've got the Malign Lake Cruise included as well. We go up to Jasper National Park, and we also stay at the incredible new hotel, the Kanakis Mountain Lodge resort, which is absolutely incredible again. Before, we would end in Calgary, or if guests have chosen to, we can extend and have the Rocky Mountaineer for 2 days, taking guests to Vancouver, where our itinerary will end. But you can choose here with Insight Vacations to have the Silver Leaf, which you can see there, the third carriage along, or the Gold Leaf. And from my personal experience, I know Anne's travelled on this many times, it is absolutely incredible. The views, the sights, the food that you have on board, paying that little bit more for the Gold Leaf experiences, I believe, is the way to go. It is absolutely amazing. And I know, Anne, you've travelled on the Rocky Mountaineer a number of times, and I'm sure you can tell that experience as well.
Yes, so I've travelled in silver and in gold, and I won't sort of bore people too much about that because there's a lot to say about Rocky Mountaineer. So if people who are listening in are not interested, then it's going, you know, I could just go on about it. So I can give a very honest opinion of both. And this 2-day trip is spectacular. The first day going through the sort of countryside, following the rivers and the gorges, and then the second day, you know, you're heading into Vancouver and the scenery changes. You go through Hell's Gate Canyon and then arrive into Vancouver sort of late afternoon. And what a city Vancouver is. You say, and I love the fact that now the tour ends, they end up, if you would take that, you would end up then in Vancouver, and the opportunity then to have a spectacular city stay independently, but with guidance on what to see and do from me before you go, and possibly the opportunity of adding on Vancouver Island and seeing a little bit of Victoria, the wonderful, named after Queen Victoria, beautiful harbour city, and do a bit of whale watching from there, visit Butchart Gardens. You've got about a 5-night add-on at the end there, which is a must-do. You know, you're there, do it. So, yeah, thank you for giving me a little bit of time to talk about it.
It's perfect. That's exactly what we needed to be said. So yeah, absolutely incredible. So that really comes to our end of Canada, and we are going to, one of the last items, we're not going to keep on for much longer now because we could talk forever on these areas, but I know this is an area that Howard absolutely loves, and it's an area that I've been fortunate to travel to before. I actually went on our longer version of this called the Sumptuous Soul of America that started in Chicago and right down the spine, but this is just this good, and this is what we call the country roads of the Deep South. So it starts in Nashville and it'll end in New Orleans, but it's an amazing place to go and visit for the music, for the food, for the people, for the experiences. And Nashville is incredible. We stay in the heart of Nashville at the Renaissance Hotel, right in the heart of downtown Nashville. You can see the pictures of Johnny Cash there in the background, a beautiful hotel. And you're there with all these incredible bars and this live music that's being played day and night. This is on your doorstep. This is where you need to be when you're in the heart of Nashville. And when I arrived, I did again out of season, and we arrived on Thanksgiving, and our travel director said, don't expect these famous bars to be so busy today. It might not be as much live music, but these bars are split into two. So you have live bands on one floor and another live band on the top. And Nashville, of course, is the home of country music. So that's the type of music that you hear. But we walked in to one of these bars, I think early in the afternoon, and the welcome of people. They're so friendly in the Deep South. Everybody was like, yeah, welcome, come in. So amazed to see us, our small group of travelers. And I think after about an hour, someone invited to their home for Thanksgiving dinner. So you feel part of the Nashville story, yeah. And so much history there as well. It's amazing. Yeah. Amazing place to go and see.
Howard's done this a couple of times now, and he's put his own guide together for it. So he is most definitely the specialist for USA, as many of you will know that have tuned in. So he is the one to see about this, and he can certainly go through the tour in detail and add a little bit of value on any pre or post opportunities.
Definitely. And I'm just going to show you some of the images. We go to Studio B, where Elvis obviously recorded many of his famous albums. We can actually do a private singing lesson there. We meet some famous country music stars as well. Memphis is totally different and unique atmosphere. It's blues, it's soul, it's a bit rawer compared to Nashville. Nashville's got a lot of money, it's very well established. Beale Street in Memphis is totally different, but it's still electric. It's still, you feel alive when you go to these towns, and it's a different type of music, but it's got amazing history again. We take the guests into B.B. King's Blues Bar. Graceland, we actually stay at the Great Graceland Resort, and we include an after-hours experience in Graceland for our guests. We get to stay in an original plantation for the night before we end the itinerary in New Orleans, staying in the heart of the French Quarter. And that is just a small snippet of these itineraries. I'm not talked about Lafayette, the food, the atmosphere. It's like it's hard to put it into words. Howard's probably better than doing it now, but it is like going to a completely different place than anything else. And when you're in New Orleans and you go into the French Quarter, you don't even think you're in USA anymore. You feel like you've gone back 200 or 300 years to France, how it used to be. And it's a really unique place to go and see. Incredible architecture, amazing atmosphere. And they call New Orleans the Big Easy because everybody is so relaxed. So it's an amazing place to go and see. And before we end, we do, like I said before, many of these itineraries, we have a special discount on of up to 10%. So they are valid up until the end of this month. So have a look at the brochure and see if you like any of the itineraries. But this is just to give you a short flavour of what it's like travelling on a guided journey with Insight. The key for you to understand it more in greater detail and to really understand USA and Canada is to make an appointment with Delmar World and to go and see the experts that are there, because they can then personalize these itineraries and make the whole holiday unique to yourself. So please don't hesitate to get on the phone, make an appointment, go and speak to Anne or Howard and or any of the team there, and they'll be there to give you that expert advice that will hopefully give you your dream trip to North America.
Yeah, thank you so much, Lee. You know, that it's inspirational, I think, for us to be seeing these images, being able to think about our holidays, so important to us after what we've all been through. So thank you for bringing that to life for us. And I hope everybody's enjoyed it. But we have had a couple of questions come through. So I'm going to ask you just a couple of questions. Is there a seat rotation on the coach? In other words, do you with the seat that you start off with, is that the seat that you keep throughout? How does that work?
No, we always offer, we obviously on our vehicles, we've got the extra space, it's smaller groups, but we do rotate the seats as well, just to make it, just so we can be fair, upfront and honest with everybody. We will rotate the seats. We just do that because we think that's the fairest way. One of the
Yeah, I do too.
The vehicles themselves is they've been customized in the fact that you've got that extra leg room. You've got double the leg room that you would normally get. You've got double the window space. And so it's not like a huge issue than it is with other operators where you could be stuck at the back with 55 people on board. It's definitely not like that with Insight. So, but we still do offer that rotation. We do that, just to make it fair.
Thank you. Same person. Is there a loo on the coach?
There is. And it can be used. We do make sure that when we travel on these guided itineraries, we make sure that we blend these itineraries so we have enough time in each destination in terms of overnight stays. But we do have to travel. And when we do travel, we make sure that that journey is an experience itself. And the fact that we make sure we take in experiences along the way. You're never going to be on the vehicle for more than 2 hours at any one time on an Insight trip. So it's not like it's long days on the vehicle. It's not the way that we design our itineraries. But there is a loo there if needs be.
Okay, thank you. Okay, the other one was about gratuities. With gratuities, who would you tip at the end of your tour, and what sort of cost would be involved?
So what we tend to do is when it comes to the restaurants, the hotels, all that tipping's included. So the only option, if the guests want to, they can tip at the end of the itinerary, the travel director and the driver, if they want. It's an option. Now, if you want, we can actually arrange for those tips to be prepaid for you. So when you get your travel documents through from Delmar World, you will have a voucher to say that it's been prepaid. So you can present that to, on the last day of the itinerary, to the travel director, and it's done. It's clean. It's a safe way to do it. And we can give you an idea of how much that would be, a fair amount. You don't have to tip. This is not something that we say that it's needed to. It's just something that it is there as an option, and it can be prepaid if you like.
Well, it's always an uncomfortable subject for us Brits, you know.
Yeah.
And you know, cruising is very similar to that. You can sort of prepay it, or you can do it when you get on board, or not at all, or whatever. But it is a question that needs to be asked. The other question that I've had is, can we get flights from Manchester? Now, I can answer that one. Obviously, the tours are diverse. So in some cases, we can't get direct flights, but we will always be able to work around certain airlines that could go, say, from Manchester via New York or via Amsterdam, etc., and we'll work through the choices depending on the gateway and the exit points, and make the most of those itineraries. So yes is the answer, but we'll always talk through those options with you. Yeah. And that appears to be the end of our questions. If nobody has any more, then I just want to finish really by thanking Lee, because it's been lovely to spend an hour romancing and planning and just knowing what's out there for us. But also to tell you, very exciting, we're going back to our normal opening hours in October, because we're starting now to get busier. And we've just started opening our office. We're working 10 till 4 throughout September, Monday to Saturday. So the office is open on a Saturday. And then we're going back to our 9 till 5:30 hours in October. So we're thrilled about that, because you guys are wanting to travel and we're here for you. So don't forget, give us a call, have a look at the brochure. If you need any help in opening it and viewing it, do call us, we can help with that. And thank you so much for joining us. And we look forward to seeing you in person very soon. Thank you. Bye for now.